Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday evening. Welcome to our Science and Technology X39 review testimonial Zoom. We're so excited you guys decided to join us tonight. We have two beautiful ladies here with us that are going to be sharing their personal experiences using the X39 stem cell activation patch. I am joined by my beautiful co-host out on the West Coast, Miss Marcy Preble. And she is going to be interviewing them, and then I am going to come back and share the science and technology with you on exactly how these patches are working for these ladies. So grab your notepads, grab your pens. I'm sure you're going to want to take some notes. It's going to make you think of some people that you could definitely help with this technology as well too. But before we get started, I'd like to share our disclaimer. So LifeWave as a company or the products are not intended to cure, treat, or diagnose anything. The information that's being shared here tonight is just for informational purposes. If you have questions, please check with your doctor or healthcare practitioner regarding your health. And if you're pregnant or nursing, of course, or on medications, please check with your physician as well too. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my beautiful co-host, Miss Marcy.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Stacy, and happy Thursday. So we're going to start with Anna. And Joanna, we just would love to know what was going on with you before X39, who introduced it to you, and what's happening now.
Okay, well, I have known Dr. Stan and Jody for about 4 years and worked with them before. And about a year ago, I was talking to Jody and she said, you have to try this. So I was skeptical, but we tried it for my husband. He had great results. And I was still skeptical and I just didn't know if I wanted to, look more into it. I was having a lot of anxiety, a lot of migraines. My hands went numb every single day. I'm an esthetician. It was getting hard to work on clients every day. So about 2.5 months ago, I came to a conference and was blown away. I knew that would kind of either make or break it for me. So I started using the patches daily since then. And in the last, 8 to 10 weeks, I have seen about an 80% reduction in my hand numbness. My husband's shoulder is still great. We own a lawn care snowplow business here in Montana, so he has a lot of manual labor in the summer, especially. My migraines, they are down. I've only had 2 or 3 since, and I used to get them about every week. But when I do get them, I use an ice wave and they are 80% gone within 6 to 8 minutes. I have timed it. My anxiety is a huge one. I was up to at my worst, about 15 panic attacks a day. And these are not like just anxiety. These are full blown panic attacks where I can't breathe and like shut down. So bad. And I can't function on the heavy medication and stuff like that and run businesses. So I started the Nirvana system about 2 months ago with the patches and little supplements. I haven't had a panic attack in almost 5 weeks. So that the anxiety is about 90% down. The full blown panic attack is completely gone, completely. So, and I'm just seeing more and more results. I'm 45 years old, so I'm giving it some time for everything, because month for each decade. So I am waiting to see what else is happening in the next few months.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm a fast talker, but I want to get it all in there quick.
I just have a few things to comment on because
she's taking notes. So
okay. I wrote notes as fast as you talked.
Okay.
I'd be like that. So my question is, migraines gone, you would have them all the time and now you barely have them. And when you have them, let me get this right. They last 6 to 8 minutes.
I've timed them. My friend and I were in the car. My mother-in-law was in ICU a couple weeks ago. She was racing me to the hospital. I was getting a migraine. Thought I was going to just like have a full blown. I had the aura, everything. She had some in her car. I put one on each side. We timed it 8 minutes. It was like 80 to 90% gone, that one. And I've timed them. It's never lasted more than 10 minutes once I put the ice wave on.
And how long do they normally last?
Hours. And this is, and to the point of being sick, like physically sick. And I can take everything else and it, tones it down, but they can be debilitating. And so that and the anxiety obviously are the two big ones for me. But
so that ice wave, I know, of course, you're taking, and we're going to talk about the X39, the stem cell activation package. That actually works in your body to start repairing, but that ice wave is quick pain relief. So that migraine must just be really hot, fast, and that ice wave just kind of calms it down. Yeah. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. Yes. The frequency has calmed way down. But then when they do happen, the ice wave is a quick fix to settle it down right away.
Wow.
So it doesn't get out of control. I don't get physically sick. I was under so much stress with her in the ICU like 3 weeks ago, and I didn't know what I would do. She goes, I have to. She's on the call tonight. I have to right here. And I put them on and I was like sweating. And I mean, just a couple miles down the road, I was fine. Didn't even have to take ibuprofen or anything like that.
And it's ice wave. Do you also use the X39 and the Eon in conjunction, or
I use those every day. Yes.
Okay.
As maintenance and stuff. The ice wave is just kind of it broke
fire
through. I need
out.
to stop it.
I got it. So X39 and Eon every day, ice wave puts the fire out. Did I get that?
Yes. Yes. It's reducing the frequencies, the X39 and the Eon, but when they do break through, the ice wave.
Okay. And panic attacks. I just want to get this because you do talk fast. How many panic attacks do you get in a week, in a day, in an hour?
At my worst, I was up to 15 a day. Like, and not just like anxiety, full blown where I'm hyperventilating and feel like I'm being drowned. Like, and I know other people can relate to that. It's hard for me to talk about that. I'm not one to share my personal like shortcomings. I don't love to do that, but I feel like I know a lot of people suffer from that, and it's either be on Xanax, which I can't function. I homeschool my son. I run 2 businesses. I can't do that, or this. And I finally did post about it today, and I mean, it's amazing how many people really understand like what you're going through and feel the same way.
Sometimes we just have to share to help others and ourselves. So thank you. It's sometimes hard to be that personal, especially with panic attacks and 15 a day where I heard this, you feel like you're drowning. Like really?
Yes. Like you're being held underwater, basically. Yeah.
And you've been on, of course, X39 and Eon every day, but this Nirvana, Nirvana is one of our patches, and we normally just talk about X39, but this is serious. So I'm just going to say it helps to create endorphins, stabilize the neurotransmitters of the brain. So all that weird stuff that causes anxiety, it sounds to me that Nirvana system has calmed that down in addition. And do I understand that right?
Yes. Everything else, I do the maintenance, the X39, and I do the silent nights. I do, everything maintained, but the Nirvana has been really amazing. And yes, I mean, I feel like people don't talk about Nirvana quite as much as the other patches, but for me, it's just as important as everything else. And I do, the patches and the supplements. And I feel like it for sure takes the edge off even like depression and stuff too, but it also just calms you where you don't get so worked up over stress. And it really has helped me a lot. I've actually, tried to talk a little bit about that more with my brand partners and my customers, because I feel like that's something they need to know about, that's out there for help, because especially in Montana, it's a really long winter. We have a lot of seasonal affective disorder is a real thing up here, and it's really hard. It's still like 2 feet of snow here, and it's getting hard to take from the winter. And so, I mean, people have it without that, but it can be really hard in the northern states. And it, sometimes it's hard to get out of bed and you just need a little boost.
Yeah. I get it, because my son has autism, and when he went into puberty, it went into OCD or chronic anxiety. So I understand that life, and it's not easy. It's not easy to have mental issues, and it's not easy to watch your child who you love have it, or your wife have it. And what he tells me is Nirvana helps stabilize his brain, and he doesn't understand why, but I know it's stabilizing all the neurotransmitters, and he loves Silent Night. And it's interesting
Mhm.
that you like that too. And Dr. Patty told me, and you probably understand this, Dr. Stacy, but I didn't, that Silent Night first turns into serotonin and then into melatonin. And I got chills. And my son doesn't uptake serotonin right, and that's one of the reasons he has so much anxiety. And so I just ordered my first, well, I've been inside, but I got Silent Night again. It just came in the mail yesterday. So anyway, I know we're kind of talking about a lot of things, but mental illness and mental health is a real thing, and we shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about it because it can help a lot of people. And so thank you for being so open tonight.
No, it's hard. It's really hard for me to be vulnerable and stuff like that. But I don't want those patches to kind of, that people don't consider them just as important. I mean, maybe not for the healing, but honestly, for a lot of people, they are just as important. And the Silent Night helped me. That's another thing. I've done the Silent Night for about 3 weeks. And in the last 2 weeks, I haven't had to take anything to help me sleep or anything either. So, and that's probably the Nirvana, the X39 Neon, and the Silent Nights all together. But it's going really, well for my body. And honestly, my husband, is a Montana man through and through. And so he was skeptical, and Jody's like, just try it. So we did, as a courtesy to a friend, basically. And he's like, you know what? I made it through last summer, just with the patches and nothing else. And so that was how we got into it, but we are completely sold. And my husband uses everything now too.
Wow. So let me say that again, because those are my son's 4 favorite too. Isn't that interesting? And I've never had confirmation before until tonight, which is X39 stem cell activation. Eon reduces brain inflammation. Silent Night turns into serotonin into melatonin. And Nirvana, of course, activates the neurotransmitters of the brain. So, wow. Do you have anything else you'd like to share? Because this was powerful tonight.
Just that I have struggled with anxiety and depression. My 25-year-old son has. So it's something I'm very familiar with. So that's why I'm always looking for something that is not big pharma to try. And so I'm really loving the results with this.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Joanna. We really appreciate you coming and helping so many people and helping me tonight. Like, you just confirmed what my kid needs. So thank you. So
that makes me happy.
It makes me happy, so happy. So with that, we're going to move on to Destiny. And thank you. And Destiny has a whole different story, which is going to be really fun to hear. So Destiny, tell us what's been going on with you, how you learned about LifeWave, and what's been happening now. I know you have some new success and a new story of success that you want to share. So what's been happening?
In 2019, I woke up one morning and I was blind in my right eye, and I was just panicked. And I'm a veteran, so I went to the VA, and they said I had an occlusion and I was bleeding behind my eye. So that started my doctor's appointments with a specialist, where every month he would put a needle in my eye and he'd do laser and inject me and stuff. And I did that for 3.5 years. And I had fallen apart 2 or 3 times because psychologically it just was so hard. And then my friend Victoria in Galveston, Texas, got hold of me and said, Destiny, I found something that's helping my eyes, because she has macular degeneration. And I said, what do you got? And so she sent me some patches. And so what I decided when I got them is, let's see if they work. And I quit taking medicine, and I quit going to the eye doctor. I was just done. And so it's been 8 months since they put a needle in my eye. And I went to the doctor. Well, when they were putting the needle in my eye, it caused me to have a cataract in my eye. I had to have cataract surgery. Then because of that needle, I got glaucoma in my eye because of that. And so it just was compounding on everything. And so when I started these patches 8 months ago, I quit everything. I went to the eye doctor, and I didn't tell them that I wasn't taking the medicine until after they tested my eyes. And I have normal pressure in my eyes. I no longer have glaucoma. So just like, yay, I don't have glaucoma. And I told my surgeon that I was on the patches, that it was a stem cell patch. And that's why I didn't go back to the retinal doctor. I'm letting my own body heal itself. And she's just like, oh, that's good. That's good. So I feel so blessed, because as a single woman, I was so afraid with the eye not being able to see correctly. And I was afraid it was going to affect my good eye, and mentally having a doctor put a needle in your eye, you can't look away, and psychologically I was falling apart. I had went to the VA, and I just was burst out crying, I can't do this. And he was like, pull up your bootstraps, Sergeant Simon. This is the best there is.
So, Destiny, let me ask you a little bit about the symptoms of glaucoma. Like, what you said, no more pressure in your eye. Forgive me for not understanding what this is exactly, but what is glaucoma? Like, what is that eye issue?
And it increases the pressure in your eyes, and you can go blind from the pressure. Yeah.
From the pressure. So it's eye pressure, and the pressure doesn't come down.
Correct. And so you have to do these eye drops in your eye at night, which doesn't sound like much, but they cause dry eye. And dry eye can tear up your retinal.
Wow. So it was just the cycle of your eye getting worse and worse, from the needle to the pressure to the dry eye to the retinal not working. And I suppose there was a part of you being a single woman worrying, like, am I going blind in all of this? I'm sure.
Exactly. And my freedom. And you think about this, I don't have any family to speak of. I have one son, but has his life, so I don't have anybody. And I'm like, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of myself? So these patches, when I got them, I put, not only did I know Victoria, but I just prayed about it. And I've always loved science. I worked in a hospital. And so I'm like, stem cells. Wow.
What patches have you been using for 8 months? All X39? Did you add any other ones with it?
I've used X39, X49, Eon, glutathione, carcinine, SP6. When I started the business, I ordered them all. I look like the polka dot woman. And so ever since this past 8 months, I always have the X39 and the glutathione most of the time. I've really started being religious with the carcinine, and always I've had the Eon and the Alavita at night. And now what you guys are saying about the sleep, I guess I'll be trying those at night. I don't have a problem sleeping.
Well, I would say for the eye support, I love the X39, the Eon for inflammation, and that carnosine for organ support, because those eyes are one big organ we got to love on. And Dr. Stacy would probably be able to talk more about that. But Destiny, I'm so happy that your report came back with pressure gone, symptoms of glaucoma gone. Not so worried about going blind, and now you as a single woman can have your freedom. Yes.
Yes. I'm so happy.
I'm so happy
that God sent this to me, because with everything, it was just so emotionally straining.
Yes.
I have PTSD, and so it was starting to affect where I would have attacks when I was asleep. I would wake up in places. You go to bed and then you wake up and you're not in bed. And it's just PTSD. So getting these patches and everything has settled me down so much at night. I sleep like a rock. So I just,
Well, you know, I will say none of us expected this to happen, but somehow the patch showed up. So
Yes.
Destiny, I'm so happy that you're doing so well. And thank you so much for sharing your testimonial tonight. And we're going to now move to Dr. Stacy, and she can
Yeah.
explain a little bit behind the science of this technology, because Joanna and Destiny, they had such different experiences, right? Why, doctor?
Absolutely. That's what happens pretty much every single Thursday when we come together, Marcy. We hear two very, very different testimonials for very different symptoms and issues that people are dealing with, but that are using the same patch and getting results. And so that's pretty amazing. Our body is very powerful. And our body knows how to heal itself. It has its own innate ability to know how to do that, right? When you cut your finger or break your bone, it's not the Band-Aid or the cast, it's the body. It's the body's stem cells that go to work to repair and regenerate those areas. And so we have the ability with the X39, the stem cell activation patch, this non-transdermal patch, to actually signal our own stem cells to mobilize, to become activated, to elevate, and they go to work to repair and regenerate what is ever needed in the body. And here's what I want you to understand too, because you heard some things tonight about emotional, mental types of conditions and symptoms that these ladies were dealing with. So we know stem cells repair and regenerate tissue and organs and systems in the body, but this also works to help your body emotionally and mentally. We see in our clinical studies, the brain, you can see the coherence in the brain, the reduction in anxiety, the more balanced the brain becomes. That's what coherence is, where the left brain and right brain are communicating with itself from using the X39. And of course, you heard them talk about other patches as well too. So I want you to understand how this is happening. David Schmidt is the inventor of this patch, of all these patches. He's actually been inventing them for 20 years. This is not new, okay? So our stem cell activation patch has been on the market 4 years. It took him 10 years in the lab to figure out how to signal the body to activate its own stem cells. But he started 20 years ago with a download from God, created a patch called Energy Enhancer when he was working with the Navy SEALs to help them with sustainability, endurance, and stamina and energy in the field. And so over the last 20 years, there have been over 90 clinical studies that have been done with people, real people, showing the effectiveness of these patches, as you heard many of them tonight, right? David's invented a dozen patches in the last 20 years. But this, the X39 stem cell activation patch, is what we would call the crowning jewel, right? This is the mother lode right here, this patch, because stem cells are responsible for repairing and regenerating anything and everything. They're what we call pluripotent. So they can work on anything that your body needs. And remember, I said your body knows what it needs. It has its own innate ability to know how to do that. And so when we put this patch on, we put this patch on in the morning. We can put it on the back of our neck, we can put it below our belly button, or you can put it anywhere you want. The patch is working. So how does it work? Well, if you put your hand on your chest, you're about 98.6 degrees, right? You're emitting heat, body heat. We know that, okay? We can see that low-level infrared light. I know where Marcy's out in California, it's still daytime, but where I'm at here on the East Coast, it's nighttime, it's 9:30. And so I can go outside and I can look through night vision goggles and I can see the neighbors across the street or the animals, right? And that is what I'm looking at, is that heat or that infrared light that's being emitted. And so when we put the patch on, our body's heat reflects back a very specific wavelength of light back into our body. And that wavelength of light signals with this patch a peptide that's called GHK-Cu copper peptide. Now, how does that happen? Well, that's what David has figured out. That's what took him 10 years in the lab. So this white part, embedded in that white part, is a crystal lattice structure. And I say it's a structure because it's not a crystal like a clear quartz crystal or an amethyst, not that kind of crystal. There's nothing coming into the body. David has invented a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, sugars, oxygen, salts, and water that form together. This solution forms together in a lattice structure that's embedded in this patch. So we put that on, our body's heat or light reflects back a specific wavelength of light into the body that elevates a peptide. Each patch has a different combination of those amino acids, sugars, oxygen, water that form different lattice structures. So different wavelengths of light are reflected back into the body, signaling different peptides. It's just like if I was sitting in my infrared sauna and I push the detox button, specific wavelengths of light are going to come into my body to detox my cells. If I pushed the anti-aging button, then different wavelengths of light are going to come into my body. I don't see them, I don't feel them coming in, but I know that's what's happening, right? And that's the same thing with our patch. You put the patch on, you don't see anything happening, nothing's going into the body, no nutrient, no chemical, no substance. You may not feel anything immediately. Sometimes people do, but not always. But you're going to leave this patch on for 12 hours. During that time, it's activating, elevating, mobilizing your own stem cells, actually resetting a third of your genes back to their young, youthful, healthy state. I don't know who wouldn't want that. From the moment you put this patch on, reset my genes back to when I was young and youthful and vibrant and full of energy. Give me that any day, right? And so when you wear this patch day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, here's Marcy 3.5 years later, we see a compound effect of improving our quality of life, not only pain reduction and more energy, more mental clarity, mental focus, concentration, recovery from fitness and activity and faster wound healing, but we really start to see the effects the longer we use this. We start to see the repair and regeneration happening inside of the body, and we can see that on the outside of the body, right? Collagen production is increased, and we can see those signs of aging start to decline. I was at an event earlier today, and an 80-year-old woman said, "Is this going to get rid of my wrinkles, honey? I need something for my wrinkles." I'm like, "Not about 3 months. It's just been a month for you. But about 3 months, you're going to start to see those changes on the outside with your collagen." And so that's the beautiful thing about this, is it's working to do whatever your body needs, whatever Destiny's body needed, right? Her eyes, Joanna with anxiety and stress, but also with her sleep. We got to see so many different benefits. And that's what I love about this, that it's based on what you need, your body needs. And I always tell people, you can stop patching whenever you want to start aging again. For me, I'm all about prevention, vitality, and longevity. This is in my toolbox that I will be using for the rest of my life, just like good, clean, healthy water and exercise and meditation and healthy food. It's just a tool in my toolbox. It's very easy. It's very effective. No side effects, no contraindications to anything that you're using or taking or doing. And it's so affordable, literally the price of a cup of coffee a day, just to put on this patch when you get up in the morning, or any of the patches they mentioned. Leave them on 12 hours, take it off, throw it away, or put it in your pet, put it in your pet bed or on their collar, and do it again the next day, day after day, week after week, month after month. So I want you to get back with the person that invited you tonight. I know we have well over 200 people on here. So if you're a guest, get with the person that invited you. They can help you get set up with whatever patches you need that best serve your needs and goals for your health. And we're excited to help you and see you achieve results. We have a calendar. If you would go to ourteamcalendar.com, we would love to hear your testimonial too. Pick a time slot that works for you, and the person that's doing that testimonial podcast that night will reach out to you to make sure we get you on that. So please join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We are here every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. on our Patching podcast, sharing 2 new testimonials every time. So invite your friends, invite your families to tomorrow at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. And then of course, we'll join you back again next Monday through Thursday at 6 Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So Marcy, I'll turn it back over to you to close us out.
Yeah, I would just like to say, for more information, you can also go to startx39now.com. That's startx39now.com. There's a great video on light, a great video on stem cells. And of course, David Schmidt, our owner, inventor, and CEO, has an 18-minute video on exactly how X39 works and the issues it helps with. Also, if you're ready to try some of these amazing technologies, just get with the person who brought you here. You can let them know if you'd like to start with one of our wholesale packs. It costs less than a cup of coffee a day. And trust me, it will change your life. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Stacy. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Destiny. We love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.